A major upgrade for one Central Texas police department, the technology ushering in a new era for investigations. Plus, a long dormant college football rivalry reawakened with a bang. The new tradition marking the return of the Lone Star State's biggest rivalry game.
And we are cooling off, on track for our coldest night of the season so far. We'll track the numbers and some rain coming back for next week.
New range equipment, drones, and devices that can detect illicit drugs are helping the Burnett Police Department. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Will Dupree. The Burnett Police Chief says this technology can help the department fight crime in a big way. KXAN's Nabil Ramadna has more.
From the gun range to the evidence room,
there's a laser beam that shoots out.
The Burnett Police Department is upgrading their technology and equipment. Burnett Police Chief Brian Lee says it will help in a number of ways.
In an agency our size, you don't see typically having the TrueNarc, having the drone systems.
In a time when fentanyl is on the rise, a tool like the TrueNarc comes in handy, keeping officers like Sergeant Michael Doherty out of harm's way.
The laser goes in there and detects two different molecules. It'll break them down and it'll let us know, hey, there's fentanyl in this and then there's methamphetamine.
Officers can test an unknown substance by pressing a laser against it. After about 30 seconds, the results are shared.
Methamphetamine.
And how about the new drones? 4 of them in all. The 2 larger, weather-resistant, and used for a number of tasks, from search and rescue to pursuits to even monitoring fires.
We can put out broadcasts as well as a spotlight for nighttime.
When you're, let's say, looking for a suspect in this situation, can this help in a big way?
Absolutely. So the zoom capabilities on this is about 200 times magnification. So
this is from about 300 feet away. You can see it's a clear view. Another tool can be found on the gun range with targets that randomly pop up. Some showing a suspect holding a gun while others just a phone. It helps officers with reaction times.
If my officers are out there and they're scanning targets every time before they act, that's going to help them if in a real-life situation.
From improving officer safety to helping in investigations, this tech can help in a big way. In Burnett, Nabil Ramadna, KXAN News.
Going in depth now, another Central Texas community is also experimenting with police drones. We told you back in September about how the Bee Cave Police Department is testing out completely autonomous drones. Bee Cave is the first department in the nation to team up with the Austin startup Eve Vehicles. Bee Cave police already use piloted drones, but these do not need pilots. Instead, they launch from a command center, fly to a scene on their own, send back live video, and then return on their own to recharge.
The drone will be able to be the first one on the scene and will provide real-time information and feedback to what our officers are en route to.
The department says the drones are used as eyes and ears for first responders, and they'll respond to a number of emergency calls for things like traffic accidents and wildfires.
First warning weather with Chief Meteorologist Nick Bannon.
This morning was our coldest morning of the season so far. We think tomorrow morning is going to be slightly colder. We're already on track now with temperatures in the upper 40s in Austin, but most other spots in the mid to low 40s and even a few 30s. Comparing it to this time yesterday, away from Austin, the vast majority of cities and towns are several degrees cooler than we were 24 hours ago. So we do think tonight's going to be a colder night. We do have a mostly clear sky with the exception of high, thin clouds streaming our way from the west and northwest. If these clouds were thicker, they would keep some of the heat in from the day. But we think they will be thin enough that the heat of the day will radiate out and allow temperatures to drop to 37 in Austin to begin your morning under that mostly clear sky here tonight. So coming up in First Warning Weather, we'll show you the temperatures for where you are on what we expect will be the coldest night and the coldest morning of fall as we take you into your weekend forecast with rain returning next week.
Nick, thanks so much. The eyes of Texas are turned to College Station with 24 hours to go before the Longhorns take on Texas A&M, with the winner advancing to the SEC championship. And now the Lone Star State rivalry is kicking things off with a new tradition. Wearing military ruck packs, cadets and student veterans are walking and driving the game ball from Austin to College Station, gearing up for a game that has not been played in more than a decade, with a lot at stake.
13 years in the making. This is huge, and then SEC game on the line is even bigger. So this means a lot.
According to TickPick, this is the most expensive regular season football ticket, including the NFL, on record, with an average price topping $1,000. A day before the big game, we found tickets starting at about $500 and soaring up to $9 grand. Although the University of Texas and Texas A&M have a well-documented historic rivalry, one scholarship program aims to highlight the unity between the two universities. Texas A&M launched the Bonfire Unity Endowed Presidential Scholarship in the year 2000 to remember the support lended by UT Austin students and faculty following the 1999 bonfire tragedy in College Station that left 12 Aggies dead and 27 others hurt. Two UT students received the scholarship this year. One of those students spoke on how the scholarship preserves the history of Texas universities, setting aside their rivalries and helping each other during their darkest times.
I think regardless of whether you're an Aggie, a Longhorn, or anything else, we all share this innate desire to help other people, and I think that's something you just can't take away from a Texas student.
Last Monday marked the 25th anniversary of the Texas A&M bonfire tragedy. Tonight, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau arrived in Florida to meet with President-elect Donald Trump at his Mar-a-Lago club. A source familiar with the plan says Trudeau will have dinner with Trump, but did not provide any further details. This meetup comes just hours after Trudeau said Trump would raise prices on Americans if the president-elect follows through on his threat to impose tariffs on Canadian products. Meanwhile, the Centers for Disease Control is warning of a salmonella outbreak linked to cucumbers. According to the CDC, 68 people have been infected across 19 states, including here in Texas. Of those, 18 have been hospitalized, but nobody has died. The CDC tracked the outbreak back to cucumbers grown in Sonora, Mexico, including those from Sun-Fed Produce. This comes after the company issued a recall earlier this week because of its cucumbers. Going in depth now, this is the second salmonella outbreak linked to cucumbers this year. Between March and July, the CDC and the FDA reported a significant outbreak affecting Texas and several other states. The affected cucumbers were determined to be from Bedner Growers Incorporated and Thomas Produce Company. The outbreak affected 551 people across 34 states. The festive season is already in full swing in towns all across the country, and that is especially true up in Georgetown, where its annual lighting of the square ceremony kicked off a few hours ago. Our Sam Stark went to that festive Texas town and talked to some businesses whose cash registers were also lighting up tonight.
Festive wreaths adorn the historic Georgetown Square. Christmas decor fills the windows of square front businesses. And holiday classics provide a soundtrack to the festivities.
I love it. It's beautiful here. It's cold and pretty and everyone's happy and festive.
People are here for the annual Georgetown Lighting of the Square ceremony, attracting hundreds every year who are ready to get into the holiday spirit.
After Thanksgiving every year, it's a tradition that we come here to Georgetown and celebrate the kickoff of the holiday season.
Visitors undeniably benefit from experiencing the decked-out square, semi-officially known as the most beautiful town square in the state. But the businesses nearby are also rejoicing.
We love the community of Georgetown. We love being here. Lots of customers.
Christy Carney has owned the Blushing Bell Boutique and the Lookout for a little over a year. She said part of the reason why she wanted to open a storefront in Georgetown is because of the city's support of small businesses.
The town really really strives to support small business, and the downtown associations, there's multiple, they do such a great job of drawing people in. So it's a great community to be a part of.
While Black Friday is probably one of the square's busier days, it will undoubtedly draw more throughout the holiday season.
When we light up the square, it's just beautiful at Christmas time. We come through here multiple times throughout the holiday season.
In Georgetown, Sam Stark, KXAN News.
With the holiday season just getting started, as we showed, their business is also ramping up for one Central Texas Christmas tree lot. KXAN photojournalist Frank Martinez gives us a look inside Papa Noel Christmas trees on its busiest day of the season.
This year, when the calendar hits Thanksgiving so late, we have Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and then December 1st, all wrapped up on the same weekend. Yeah, it's our busiest one of the year.
It's got the two-tone. I don't know if y'all noticed that, where it's lighter on the bottom, and then it's darker on the top of it. All right, now I'm about to go take it and net it, and I'm going to take a little bit off the bottom.
I like to come here because the trees are fresh and they're so wonderful. They trim it and tie it to your car and just do a really nice job here. So we come every year the day after Thanksgiving.
We just have a great time, putting the tree up, and also gives the house with a fresh tree, gives it a great smell.
One thing I like to remind shoppers is that when you buy a real tree, you're buying from an American business and you're supporting American farmers. Artificial trees are all manufactured in China, and American grown Christmas trees are manufactured and grown in America. And obviously they're 100% recyclable and renewable.
Papa Noel has 6 locations in the Austin area and 1 in San Antonio. If you're looking to get set up for the holidays, each of its locations are open every day from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. through the weekend before Christmas. Going in depth, according to the Texas Farm Bureau, more than 4 million real Christmas trees are sold in the Lone Star State each year. Each purchase benefits local farms and agricultural businesses, which helps boost the state's economy. According to an economic study by the Texas A&M Forest Service, in 2022, the Christmas tree industry brought in more than $714 million and supported close to 6,000 jobs. Today marks the start of a free opportunity for you to bring home a new pet this holiday season. The Williamson County Regional Animal Shelter is offering free dog adoptions starting today. That will last from now until Tuesday. All dog adoptions will come with zero cost as part of the Best Friends Animal Society's Adopt a Pet, Bring Home Magic promotion. The shelter is also offering some extra fun in addition to those free adoptions.
We also have kind of a fun pie challenge where we get to throw a pie at the shelter director's face for every 10 outcomes that we have, meaning 10 adoptions, 10 fosters, 10 doggy day outs, all those things add up to that.
The shelter says all adoptions will include spay and neuter surgery, vaccinations, a microchip, and a voucher you can use towards a wellness exam. You know, we've been talking about the start of the holiday season, and just in time, the temperatures are dropping to their coldest numbers just yet we've seen.
Yeah, the coldest morning of the season so far was this morning. We think tomorrow morning a little bit colder, but it's going to warm up nicely here for Small Business Saturday. If you're going out to support local businesses tomorrow, I think the weather will be comfortable enough for you to walk around and do some local shopping. Here's how it looks outside right now from our Austonian weather camera under a mostly clear sky. We've had our share of high clouds today. They've mostly been high, thin clouds. At times they've been a little thicker, and they're still drifting in from the west and northwest. And this is going to be the story of the night, of the day tomorrow, and probably Sunday as well. The thickest of the clouds should stay to the south and southeast of us, but we'll still be getting some of these high clouds drifting in from the west and northwest, although Fayette County may see some thicker clouds at times here tomorrow. There's your Sunday, still the thicker clouds to the south of us, still the high thin clouds drifting in from the north and west. So both days kind of similar, but not identical. We do think that Sunday is going to be the warmer of the 2 weekend days. Temperatures outside across across the state, mostly in the 40s. We've got some 50s south of us and then even some 30s closer to the Panhandle. We too think that most of us will be dropping down into the 30s to begin the morning tomorrow. We got down to 39 this morning in Austin and our coldest morning so far. We think tomorrow morning we'll be down to 37, so 2 degrees colder under that mostly clear sky with the high thin clouds around. Should be colder outside of the city as it usually is, with most of us starting in the mid-30s. Now, mid-30s is cold enough for some frost. Then you get closer to that 32-degree mark, and then you get into the light freeze territory. And certainly parts of the hill country may be there tomorrow morning. Even a few spots in between these sensors in our eastern counties may get there as well. Not a bad idea, if you haven't already, to cover up those outdoor plants that may be sensitive to the cold, or bring in the potted plants before you go to bed if you don't mind venturing out right now. Still, temperatures will warm rather quickly through the day tomorrow. Mid-40s at 9, mid-50s by 11. Then it's middle 60s here for tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be yet another below average temperature day for us, though. 67 is normal, and we'll get up to 65 with sunshine and the high thin clouds around. If you are heading to College Station for that game tomorrow at 6:30 kickoff against Texas A&M, should be 58 at kickoff, 54 at halftime. So certainly a chilly game. Hopefully you bundle up for that one. If you're staying here locally, 65 the high tomorrow, 69 on Sunday with sun and high clouds. Then we start to turn our attention to rain chances that grow later in the day on Tuesday. Tuesday night into Wednesday looks to be our wettest period, but there may still be some lingering showers on Thursday, and then a slightly higher rain chance coming in for Friday. So we've got daily rain chances Tuesday through Friday. Does not amount to a lot, but a 1/4 inch to an inch for areas of the Austin metro into our eastern counties. But those amounts drop below a 1/4 inch as you get into the hill country, and even less for portions of Mason and San Saba County, less than a 1/10 of an inch. So it's not a big rain for us right now. The severe weather risk is low, but at least 4 days of rain is better than none, with most of the next 7 days in the 60s. We'll be right back.
Live from KXAN, this is Game Night, sponsored by A+ Federal Credit Union.
It's the final week of November, so that means state championships are near. The playoffs are halfway over for many teams. 2 teams in our area played each other in the 3rd round of the playoffs today. Westlake took on Buda Johnson. It aired on KBVO. The Jaguars hoping to pull off a huge upset. Westlake hoping to set up another Battle of the Lakes with a win. And in the first quarter, how about Brandon Clark? First time in at running back this season, and he houses it 51 yards to put Westlake up 17-0. But he wasn't done. Clark bounces to the outside and runs it in from 13 yards out, 24-0 Westlake. The ground game just too much for Johnson to handle in the second quarter. Sebastian Hanault runs this one in for a touchdown. 31-0 Chaparrals. Westlake wins over Buda Johnson 52-14 to advance to the 4th round. Vandergrift in the Alamo Dome against Cibolo Steel. And Vandergrift's Miles Tedecki finding Brock Chilton. And Chilton's going to slip away from a defender. And he is going to score the touchdown there to put the Vipers up 6-0. Gotta love a little Jordan shrug at the end of that. Missed extra point, made it 6-0 though. Vandergrift and the Wildcat Lee Smith scores a touchdown, 20-7 Vipers. And then Miles Tedecki needing a little help, gets pushed in for the touchdown there. Vipers beat Cibolo Steel 49-35 to advance to face San Antonio Harlan next week. Now Vandergrift lost some talent off of last year's squad, but they haven't missed a beat.
As a coach, for us to replace almost every starter heading into this year, and for us to get back, and now here we are going to the 4th round, that's a credit to them, it's credit to the program, it's credit to the coaching staff. Right now, all we're going to worry about is celebrating this win. I'm going to go get me a Whataburger or something like that, and then, tomorrow we'll worry about tomorrow.
Hopefully Drew Sanders enjoys his patty melt. That's what I'm going to order for him. All right, Lake Travis and Westlake will meet in the Battle of the Lakes playoff edition next week, thanks to the Cavaliers' 52-7 win over San Antonio East Central. That game will be next Friday at 7 o'clock at the Palace. Wimberley in 4A advances by beating Cuero 69-28. The Texans will face Sinton next week. Lago Vista's season comes to an end 35-0 at the hands of Sinton. And Mason's season comes to an end after losing to Marlin 40-37. All right, college football has been 13 years, but tomorrow night brings the 119th edition of the Lone Star Showdown. Texas and Texas A&M. It quite literally will be jumping at Kyle Field tomorrow night. Of course, the Longhorns are going to absorb all the emotions of the rivalry and take it all in, but they seem confident that they'll be able to handle the environment at Kyle Field based on their efficiency on the road this season.
We don't wait for games like this to say, hey, we got to have great poise and composure. We really try to work on that throughout the summer, throughout training camp, as the season goes on, so that when games like this come, we can play a really poised and composed game. Again, I don't think this is like a one-shot thing where we're talking about poise and composure when it's a big game. I think there's a level of consistency in our approach to that that allows us to feel comfortable talking about poise and composure when you're going into a game like this.
All right, Texas State taking on major Applewhite South Alabama squad. Third quarter Bobcats up 3. South Alabama's Fluff Bothwell, what a name, runs in from 29 yards to give the Jaguars a 35-31 lead. But Texas State comes right back. Jordan McLeod finding Joey Hobart back from a shoulder injury. 38-35 after that touchdown. Texas State regains the lead, and then Manny Nunnery comes up big here with the interception, and he takes it all the way back for the touchdown. Texas State wins 45-38 to finish the season 7-5, just a win shy of last year's total. College basketball, the UT women opening night of the Gulf Coast Classic between the Longhorns and New Mexico State. First quarter, Shea Holly misses the 3, but Kyle Oldacre with the rebound and the follow, 19-8 Longhorns. Then, after an Aggie turnover in the second quarter, Texas gives it over to Leah Moore for the layup. Horns up 18. Final seconds of the first half, Madison Booker with a three-pointer here at the buzzer, 41-25, and Texas wins 90-50 to improve to 5-0 on the season. They'll play again tomorrow. The UT men hosting Delaware State tonight at the Moody Center. And Caden Shedrick sets the tone early with this spin move and this jam, 8-2. Texas, that would be the theme tonight. Longhorns above the rim all night at the Moody Center. Alley-oop here to Arthur Kaluma, 18-6 Longhorns. And Trey Johnson had a great night, crossing them over, going up and under for the reverse layup right there. Texas up by 21. And then a little later, a good bounce pass from Jordan Pope to Zarek Onyema for the jam right there. Trey Johnson led the way, though, with 21 points. Texas beats Delaware State 90-68. We're back with more after this. Keep it in.
Thanks for watching tonight. Longhorn Football Friday is up next.